Hello guys, I'm Arul Verma and today is the day when Raspberry Pi has released his fourth model, which is Raspberry Pi 4, and I'm very excited about it. The reason is I love Raspberry Pis, and let me tell you that in my home there's always a one Raspberry Pi which is gonna be online all the time, and it gives me the access to access all the computers which I have in my house from anywhere in the world. So let me tell you what I do with my Raspberry Pi, and then I'm gonna tell you in this video. First of all, I'm gonna break apart this video into two parts. In first part, I'm gonna tell you how you guys can use your Raspberry Pi if you're planning to buy one, and why you should go for Raspberry Pi Model 4, which is recently released. It's released today, of course, and why you go for that. And then I'm gonna tell you in the second part the new things which is going to be coming in the future. That's what I'm predicting. I'm not saying it's 100% that these things are going to come, but I'm predicting that these are the new things which you're gonna see in the future, and they're going to be amazing. So let's start. So first of all, let me tell you how I use my Raspberry Pi today. I always keep one of the Raspberry Pi which I have. It's the second Raspberry Pi. I use it for different purposes, but I always keep one Raspberry Pi connected to my router through LAN cable. I don't prefer Wi-Fi because don't know, like Wi-Fi can fail at any point, but LAN will never fail. So I always prefer a LAN on the Raspberry Pi. And if you can see here, right here, I have a PC. It's a gaming PC, and it's an Intel 8700K, which is a overclockable processor, and it's actually top the notch. I buy best in the market, and it's like 4 months old. And let me tell you, before I bought this PC, my electricity bill was around 1100 rupees or 1000 rupees, and just after I purchased this PC, which I use it every day to do all my activities, for recording videos, to make YouTube videos, for editing YouTube videos, my electricity bill hiked up to around 1400 rupees. I mean, like, it's consistent for last 2 months. So of course this PC consumes a lot of electricity. It's not like bad, but of course you should save electricity. Being a good person, you always wants to save electricity, and that's why I use Raspberry Pi 4. I connect Raspberry Pi all the time with the internet. That's gonna consume very less energy as compared if I keep this PC on all the time. And whenever I have to use my PC, I'll just send a magic packet. I call it, they also call it like Wake on LAN. If you don't know what is Wake on LAN, just go and Google Wake on LAN, and you can send a Wake on LAN command from your Raspberry Pi to this PC when this PC is in off state or it's in the shutdown state. Only the thing which you need is to keep the power connected. It will be like in turn off state, and once the magic packet is released from Raspberry Pi to this PC, it will turn on, and like in 2 minutes, or not 2 minutes, it's going to take 30 seconds to turn on completely and boot into Windows, and I can just log in from from applications like Chrome Remote Desktop or like Pulseware or any software which is used to remotely control your PC. And then I just do all the stuff. If I need like some kind of a rendering or some kind of video editing, I can do it remotely on this PC, and once it's done, I'll just shut it down. And if I need it again, I can just use my Raspberry Pi to turn it back on, and this saves a lot of electricity. That's how I use my Raspberry Pi. Second, I use my Raspberry Pi is like if I want to change any firewall rules on my router, I can remotely access my Raspberry Pi through the software, something like Dataplicity. I only use Dataplicity, but I'm not like this video is not sponsored or anything supported by Dataplicity. It's just like it's a very nice software. If you have not tried it, all you need to do is just install Dataplicity onto any of your Android phone, and then that software is going to scan your home network and try to find any available Linux computer, and mostly it will try to find the Raspberry Pis or any Linux computer actually it can find, but I usually used it on a Raspberry Pi. So I install Dataplicity using any Android phone, and once it's installed, you can access your Raspberry Pi serial terminal or the not serial, yeah, it's a serial terminal, it's a console, so you can access your Raspberry Pi console from anywhere in the world, either using your phone or any computer that you have. I use it from my office desk as well. So sometime I need to change the configuration in my router. I just log in into my Raspberry Pi, and from there I just log in into my router and I can just change it. It's very amazing. So this is the use case which I usually use it for every day, but of course people use it for various purposes. So the most common thing that Raspberry Pi is used for is robotics and drones. Of course, like Raspberry Pi is based on ARM-based processor. People usually run it over the battery, and that's a good thing about Raspberry Pi. Is like they are ARM-based processor, and if you compare the ARM architecture with the Intel x86 or x64 architecture, it consumes very less power. Now let's come to the Raspberry Pi 4. I mean, it's all I use it for, and if you want to explore what Raspberry Pi 3 is for or Raspberry Pi is for, you can just Google it. It's very easy to find today what are the use cases. But the thing which is exciting today is the Raspberry Pi 4. So let me quickly come up to the Raspberry Pi 4 and let me tell you there's a web page open on my computer, and the web page which I have just now opened here is the official website of Raspberry Pi. Since I don't own a Raspberry Pi 4 yet, so I'm not going to show or I'm not going to give any review about any of the feature of Raspberry Pi 4. Instead, what I'm trying to do here is I'm going to explain you whatever feature they have mentioned on the website, what are the things that you are going to find in the future with the help of Raspberry Pi 4. So let's go and let's explore. I'm very excited for now because they have added very I would say very good features here, like 2 USB Type-C. First of all, let's cover on the USB Type-C. So now earlier it was powered through micro USB, micro USB, and now they have changed it to USB Type-C, and the reason is USB Type-C is getting more common. Of course, you can use a Raspberry Pi official power supply, but nobody buys that. I mean, like, nobody prefer to buy a power supply separately with the Raspberry Pi. People usually have their own phones and they try to use it through their mobile charger. It's not recommended by Raspberry Pi. They never recommend it. Of course, they sell the Raspberry Pi adapters, so you should go and buy them. You should support them, of course. But if you see, people usually use their own mobile phone charger. So today, if you see, the mobile phones usually have USB Type-C as a charging port. So they have removed the micro USB and they have given USB Type-C. The second thing, like, most of the laptops can be charged through USB Type-C, so now you don't have to just rely on mobile chargers. I mean, like, laptop chargers also you can use, because they are also now converted into USB Type-C. Like MacBook has changed it to USB Type-C, so you can just plug in your Raspberry Pi into your MacBook charger and you can just use it like a normal computer. Second features that they have added here is the 2 4K HDMI ports. Oh my god, why I am saying 4K, and that's 2, it's not just 1, because most of the PCs, if you see, if I have here, I don't know, you won't recognize this PC. This is a PC stick and it's no more manufactured by Intel anymore. They have like full HD support. They don't support 4K, and it's based on Intel Atom processors. But here you are and this cost me around like 10,000 rupees. I mean, like, I'm in India, so I'm going to talk everything in rupees. I'm sorry about that, guys. It cost me around 10,000 rupees. This is around 4,000 something if you go for the 64 GB RAM. I'm going to come to that point, but if you go for the top-notch Raspberry Pi today available, it's cost you around 4,000 or 4,500 rupees. And I actually giving you the correct information. I called to the legit retailer of Raspberry Pi in India, and I talked to them, and they told me this price. So, and the thing is, like, being just a credit card size computer, you are getting 2 monitors that's working on 4K, and you can imagine the power they have given to the processor of the Raspberry Pi. 4. So it's very intense power. I mean, like I was expecting like it's gonna heat up if you wanna use two 4K monitors. I've not tested it yet, so if I'll get a hands on, for sure I'm gonna try two HDMI monitors together connected 4K, and I'm gonna explore that. But right now I'm not sure like whether it's gonna heat up or it's gonna consume a lot of electricity. I don't know. I cannot review it right now. So I'm going to tell you what you can find with this two 4K displays in the new Raspberry Pis. I think what I am expecting in the future, you're gonna have few things like, if you guys have explored the website known as Twitch, it's exactly like YouTube, but only for gamers. Mostly gamers post their videos over there. And if you are also familiar with the operating system known as RetroPie, where you play retro games, then you're gonna see in the future people playing retro games on Raspberry Pis over the Twitch. So they will be, they call this term as twitching, where just play games online. I mean, like just you play the game and people see you playing it. So you're gonna find Twitch on Raspberry Pi running emulation station. That's what I'm thinking. The first thing which is gonna come because of this two 4K displays here. And the reason I find this because the gamers who play games, they prefer two monitors at the same time, where the one monitor basically concentrates on the game, the second one they use it for reviewing the comments or the live comments by their supporters or by their fans or by their viewers. So you can do this on Raspberry Pi. Second thing, what I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think you can, I think it's 100% sure. You can, I'm sorry about that. So you can use your Raspberry Pi as a two screens. So for example, you have opened a spreadsheet or you are playing some game on first screen, you can do spreadsheet on the second. But that's a very minimal use case for this computer at this this intense power. So the third thing, if you talk about industrial environment where you use Raspberry Pis mostly for display purposes or displaying different content on the screen, and you just update the content through internet and just the display changes and just remain there forever. People just pass by and see whatever you want to show them, like advertisements or a new product or something. Now you can control two screens with one Raspberry Pi. So if you're thinking that Raspberry Pi 4 is expensive and it's gonna be like we have to buy a lot of stuff for that, it's not true. I mean, like it's gonna reduce the cost. The overall project cost is gonna reduce because it's come with a lot of power. So the projects which goes around like 15,000 or 16,000, it's gonna reduce down to 10,000 or 8,000 if you're gonna use this new Raspberry Pi 4. Okay, comes to the next is of course a USB Type 3. Don't get confused between USB Type C and USB Type 3. Of course, they have included earlier. This is the revision 3, model 3. It's not B plus. It's the model 3B. So it has the 4 ports over here, and all the 4 ports basically are USB Type 2. I don't know, it's 2 or 2.1. It's 2, and you can connect 4 devices, and you cannot power, I think, hard drives. You cannot power with this. I tried it. I mean, I tried powering a mechanical hard drive which I salvaged from a laptop, my old laptop. I just got the hard drive, I connected it to, I just first of all I connected it to the SATA to USB connector, and then I connected with the Raspberry Pi. It didn't work with the normal chargers, but then I went for like 3.1 amps with this Raspberry Pi, and then that works actually. But here, since this is already a USB Type C power supply here, it can handle a hard drive. So you might see, and of course the transfer speed is much higher in case of USB Type 3. So you can, I would say the use case which you're going to see in the future is like, till now, I would say 95% cases, people use their Raspberry Pis to be, the memory, the actual main memory of Raspberry Pi was this SD card, but not anymore. Like through Raspberry Pi 4, you can have hard drive, or the hard drive that you're gonna connect with your USB. You can use that hard drive as the main source where you keep your operating system, and you boot from that particular hard drive. You don't need SD card anymore, and it's a very good thing because, for example, you want to download contents on your Raspberry Pi. Of course, you're going to use the computer like these, and you want to download the content. It's going to consume a lot of electricity. So if you use Raspberry Pis, it's like a 10 gigs or 40 gigs or 70 gigs of data you want to download for the entire day. You can use your Raspberry Pi for that. Connect to a hard drive. It's going to be very fast. If you compare USB type 2 with USB type 3, type 3 is very fast, so you can just directly download it onto your hard drive. Second use case, which I just now got in my mind, is like directly streaming from the Raspberry Pi over the Wi-Fi. That's also you're gonna get in the future. So you have a hard drive which supports USB 3, and your Raspberry Pi 4 supports USB 3. You connect both of them together, and now you can just use some services like Samba, and you just do some file sharing, and you can use your phones to explore files on your Raspberry Pi. That's the new thing that you can see, and it's going to be very, very good because this model has one more extra feature which was there in Raspberry Pi 3B Plus, which is the Wi-Fi. So the Wi-Fi of this Raspberry Pi 4 has the dual band support. One band is 2.4 gigahertz, which we usually see from last like 10 years. The new band, which is 5 gigahertz, supports more data to be transferred per second. So the speed of 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi band is much higher as compared to 2.4. So you can use your Raspberry Pi 4 as a very powerful NAS, which is network access storage. So you can use it for that. Third thing which they added, and that was also the feature in Raspberry Pi 3B Plus, is the Ethernet, power over Ethernet. Of course, there are very few people who know about this, what is power over Ethernet, because Raspberry Pi needs some additional hardwares for that, but it's very useful. And it may not be useful in the case where you use it for your home purposes. It may not be that much useful, but the case where I work in my office and I do a lot of automation work, we need computers everywhere. Like if you see the lab, I'm not going to reveal who's my employer or whatever it is, but if you see the labs, the industrial environment, computers are everywhere, and space is the biggest concern for them. So a credit card size computer is going to be the first priority to use or to replace their CPUs, so the big CPUs, big cabinets, with the small credit card size computer, because this computer is equivalent powerful to that particular CPUs, which has like 4 gig or 8 gigs of RAM. They're gonna replace with them, and they don't have to install new sockets, electric sockets everywhere. They just have the LAN cables going over, and they just connect a Raspberry Pi over there. Now comes to the exciting part, and which I'm very excited for, is the variations that you're getting with a Raspberry Pi 4. We have the 3 RAM choices, 1 gig, which was there in all the Raspberry Pis till date. They have given the 2 more options for us to choose from, but the second is the 2 gigs and the 4 gigs. Why they have done this? And I am 100% sure the reason they have done it, because the revolution that was happening from last year, and I'm going through that is known as Windows on ARM. So last year or last year, Microsoft has released Windows 10 for the ARM based processor. Since Raspberry Pi runs on ARM based 64X processor, 64-bit, not 64X, it runs on 64-bit ARM based processor. Of course, you're gonna see this thing coming. Windows 10 running flawlessly on Raspberry Pi now from this date. Let me tell you, I have the experience of Windows 10 on Raspberry Pi. I tried installing it on Raspberry Pi 3 model B Plus. I think it may work a little bit faster, but it was crappy on this thing. I mean, like, you cannot run anything related to Windows on Raspberry Pi. You can just have a few glimpses, and if you're a very big nerd, then you can just get excited. Windows symbol on the Raspberry Pi, that's amazing. But believe me, you cannot work on that. And if you see the industries today, they work like 90, I would say not 90, but at least 60% of the industries, whether it's industrial factories, or whether it's IT industry, or whether it's medication, health industries, and 90, I wouldn't say 90, 60% of them works on Windows PC today. And with this Windows on ARM running on Raspberry Pi 4, it's going to revolutionize everything. You're going to see more and more Raspberry Pis in industrial use case. You're going to go to an hospital and you will see Raspberry Pi installed to the televisions. You're going to see if you go to the a lab where they do a lot of computation and all, you may see a Raspberry Pi laying around somewhere in the corner and doing some sort of small calculation for them. You're gonna see all those things. It may not be exciting for the people who do projects in their home, but it's a very big thing for the industries which wants to use Raspberry Pi to solve problems which they face every day. I mean, I'm one of the employees who work in a reputed firm, and they need these computers. They were using Intel NUC, and if you're not sure about Intel NUC, they are industrial grade computers, and they are sort of a single board computers, but their size is still greater than a Raspberry Pi. You can replace Intel NUC with Raspberry Pi 4, and it's gonna be amazing. I mean, like, you can have a much smaller as compared to Intel NUC, and you can replace. So of course this Raspberry Pi 4 is going to save more space, consumes less power, give the same computation power, and with lot of additional features like 2 screens, 2 dashboards you can have instead of 1 dashboard now. That's amazing. So I think I have covered almost every feature, and let's talk about the prices. Let me tell you something what happens today. So I was in the office and I just saw the new Raspberry Pi is released. I was very excited, and I was thinking, I'm in India right now, and it will take some time for this particular beautiful machine to come in India, or at least in my hand. So then I just got to remember that there's a retailer in my city who is a legit Raspberry Pi dealer. So he's the authorized dealer for Raspberry Pi. So instantly I gave him a call. I got his number from the website, and I'll also share the number of that particular dealer so that you guys can go ahead and talk to him and get your Raspberry Pi as soon as possible. So I just called him and I asked, hey man, I heard that a new Raspberry Pi is released. Do you have that? He said, yeah, come and you can collect one of yours. I was very excited, and he has all the models, and he won Raspberry Pi 4 with 4 gigs of RAM, and it comes around 4,500 or 4,700. So depending on GST and all, I don't know about that, but that's gonna be the price in India for now, and it is available in India. So if you guys want to buy it, sure, you can go ahead and buy it. It's not available on Amazon right now because I think within like in a week it will be available, and it will be a little bit costly on Amazon. So if you have a retailer who sells in your local market, sure, go ahead and take it from him. It's of course, pay GSTs, pay all the taxes, and get it from them. It's very amazing device, and explore. And if you find any good use case with this Raspberry Pi new model, just put it down in the comment. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna try to make sure that it's gonna be appearing more and more to my viewers. So that's it for today, guys. This is my video, and this is my thoughts on the new Raspberry Pi 4. Of course, I'm gonna buy this one. I'm gonna buy the Raspberry Pi 4, and I'll try to make a new one more video on all the features that I will explore on this Raspberry Pi 4. So wait for that coming in the future. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this and share it among your friends. I'm really excited about this new device. Thank you very much.